Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Mitsubishi Lancer car. Today we present a specific car, quite original and not particularly eye-catching. The Lancer model is a cult car, but only if it has the Evo add-on. However, the compact Lancer without Evo in its name also deserves attention. The car's cockpit is so simple that even at the time of its production, every manufacturer had more imagination. For those who value simplicity, there is no better dashboard in this segment. At first glance, it seems that the car has no equipment. Mitsubishi offered only the bare minimum in the form of airbags, electric windows and mirrors, and air conditioning, usually manual. There is ABS on board, but nothing else. However, if you spend some time in the sport version, you can be charmed by the Momo steering wheel, genuine sports aluminum accessories, gauges taken straight from the Evo, leather upholstery and very comfortable, well-holding seats on bends. The biggest advantage of this car is the quality of its ride. There is a common belief among users that the Lancer rides so well that ESP would be a waste of money. A little-known truth that overshadows the great reviews about the Ford Focus's ride is that in independent tests the Lancer CSO's ride quality has always been rated the highest. Unfortunately, it lacks the comfort that the Focus offers, although much depends on the equipment level. The most interesting-looking sport version with a slightly lowered suspension and 16-inch low-profile tires is, however, relatively firm, but rides like a dream. The Lancer CSO, apart from its independent rear suspension, doesn't really stand out from its competitors. The car didn't have any fancy technical details. Even the rear suspension was simple compared to similar designs. It's extremely rare to find models with an automatic transmission. It's better to forget about advanced multimedia systems or driving aids right away. Engines. The Lancer CSO was equipped with two petrol engines, 1.6L and 2.0L. The European market did not offer a model with a 1.3L engine, but it does not fit this car anyway. Even the 1.698 HP unit is not worth considering due to its poor performance and fuel consumption that is not lower than the 2.0 engine. In addition, it is more prone to failures. That is why I am describing the best of the Mitsubishi engines, the 2.0 DOHC with 135 HP. The brand did not offer a diesel engine, which is another reason for the low popularity of the model in Europe. The 2-liter is the only engine worth considering, and it's best to combine it with the sport version. Despite its objectively low power, the lightweight Lancer, weighing just over 1,200 kilograms, behaves almost like a GTI. With skillful use of the engine, which likes a higher rev range, you can really drive this car fast, and the short-stepped, unfortunately 5-speed gearbox also provides excellent flexibility for 176 Nm of torque available only at 4,500 revolutions per minute. The catalog average fuel consumption with this engine is 6.5 L, 100 km, but you can easily fit in 8 L, 100 km, of course with normal driving. What's broken? In general, nothing breaks down in the Lancer CSO. It is so well made that it is difficult to speak of typical faults in its case. The engine, closely related to the one installed in the Evolution version, has no design flaws and is not as strained. The equipment is like in typical Japanese cars of those years, very reliable. The engine has hydraulic valve adjustment, so apart from regular replacement of fluids and filters and cleaning the throttle valve from time to time, it does not require any maintenance, and easily lasts 400 to 500,000 kilometers. There are some opinions about leaking water pumps or even timing belt brakes, but that applies to thrifty users who wanted parts at the price of a Fiat, labor for next to nothing, and a mechanic to assess the water pump. Lambda probes usually fail when in contact with LPG, but not for this reason, but because of high mileage. There's more going on outside the drivetrain. Lancers like corrosion, but not excessively. Like Hondas of that period, Mitsubishi's also had a very thin layer of poor quality paint, so you can expect numerous, visible scratches and corrosion in those places. Besides, Lancer CSOs rarely come in really nice colors, so there's nothing to worry about. In the chassis, it is mainly the operating elements that break down. There are play in the rack and pinion, and the rear suspension creaks, which was improved after the facelift in 2005. It also happens that after installing a gas system or after long-term use, the rear suspension settles. That is why the view of the Lancer with a slightly raised front is not unnatural. Users also complain about warping brake discs, which are not sufficiently resistant to temperatures due to their small diameter. Operating costs are generally low provided you buy a good model and run it on LPG. Petrol consumption is quite high. Gas consumption often fluctuates between 9 to 12 L, 100 kilometers, but not so much because of the type of fuel, but because of the lack of moderation in pressing the right pedal. There are no problems with operating this engine on a good gas installation. Low operating costs are shaped by high reliability. Is it worth it? The car is worth considering as a vehicle with high reliability, not causing any major problems. If you are looking for a spacious, dynamic compact, you are not afraid of using LPG, you are not put off by average styling and you want it to never let you down on the road, then the Lancer CSO will be one of the best choices. However, if you need a large trunk, do not even look at this car. The Lancer CSO is a very successful technical, structural car that simply does not meet the needs of a typical European. It is worth looking for a station wagon body. Thank you for listening to me. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I did not mention, be sure to write about them in the comments.
I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car. What breaks and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro.